I'm gonna see if I'm live on Instagram right now, and if not, I'm gonna figure this out myself. Hmm. What's up, everybody? See if I got sound here. Do not have Instagram on. It says I'm live. All right, so it looks like I'm live. Am I live? And am I live? Do I got sound over there? You got sound? Yeah, you could hear me? All right, beautiful. And you could hear me, right? And it looks like we're live. Let people load up in here on the old Instagram. All right, guys. So this is a test run without James here. And as I'm looking at the feed for the warehouse, we got to change those pictures because they're pretty insane. All right, so I'll let people load into the live. We'll see what's happening over here. 6 people did not put mentioned you. So we're talking about imposter syndrome. I think I had to do it my story I posted today, or I'm going to post in a little bit about imposter syndrome. And if you guys are feeling like you're an imposter, if you feel like that you're not the person you're pretending to be for the outside world, it's important that you ask yourself why. And And why is that? Like, are you not living up to the outside persona that you're pretending to be? So many times, if you're an educator, a lot of people who are educators have this imposter syndrome because they're actually just pretending to be proficient in the skills that they're teaching. So for me, I've dealt with this in the past because I was teaching certain things, but I wasn't practicing what I preached. So once I started really implementing the strategies and following through with the word to myself that I made, like if I said my client should have these daily 5 non-negotiables, and if I fell off at any of those non-negotiables, I would feel like a phony. If you're telling your team that they should be posting every single day on social media, or they should be following up with their clients, but yet you're not doing it, you're going to feel like an imposter. So there's a lot of things that you need to do, and you have to follow through with everything that you're saying is important to your team or important to your clients. And the reason why you feel like an imposter is because you know that you're an imposter, you're a fake. That's the main reason why you feel like an imposter, because you're not doing the things you know you should be doing. You know you should be, let's say this is your life. You know you should be getting up early. You know you should be returning all your emails. You know you should be working out. You know you should be eating right. You know you should be doing your follow-ups with your clients. There's specific criteria that build the foundation of success. And if you're not completing them, if you're not following through on what you know to be true in order to support you and support your vision, then you're going to feel like an imposter. So it's important that you deliver for yourself. You deliver on everything you promise to yourself. And if you do that, you more than likely won't feel like an imposter. There comes a time when you grow out of a certain phase of your life and you step into the new version of yourself that you're going to be unsure. That's normal. The only way to really stop that from happening, like that unsure feeling that you get, is to follow through on the actions and habits that that new version of yourself needs to commit to. And if you do that, that imposter syndrome will eventually go away very quickly. And if you don't, then it's not going to go away. You're going to repeat this cycle of self sabotage over and over and over again. So it's important that you make you make good on the word you make to yourself. So it's just create a list of things that you need to do and follow through on that list. If at any given time that list isn't true anymore, then create a new list because you're going to continually grow. It's called Kaizen. The continue It's the continual improvement of whatever task, whatever version of yourself that you're trying to be. So who I am today is not who I'm going to be in a year from now. And I want you guys to think about 10 years ago or 5 years ago, who is that person? It should look nothing like the person you are today. And if you had to step in from that person, and step into your world now, you're going to feel like an imposter because you don't have the habits, you don't have the skills, you don't have the language. And when I say language, I mean the conversations you have with yourself. What are you saying to yourself on a daily basis? Are they supportive? Like, is it a supportive message that you give yourself? Or is it negative? Like, oh, I can't believe I did that. Oh, I'm so stupid. And when you start beating yourself up over things, it's not supportive of who you want to be. So the language that you have with yourself, what you tell yourself, the thoughts in your mind, like be nice to yourself, be supportive of yourself. And if you are an imposter, what needs to be true in your life to make you not an imposter anymore? And then go make it true. Go do the things you need to do to become the person you need to be, to speak the way you want to speak, to teach classes you want to teach, to charge the prices you want to charge, and that feeling will go away. So that was today's quick little message on imposter syndrome. If you guys want to drop down in the comments right here, I'm going to read through some of them. I'm doing this today without James, so I'm trying to figure out the whole StreamYard I got going on over here. So I have like 2 different windows. What's up, White Rabbit? What's going on, brother? You're crushing life too. So if you're an imposter or you feel like you have imposter syndrome, drop it down in the comments below. I'll answer any questions right now moving forward. I'm trying to get into the live. So let's go. All right, on YouTube here. How do you stop yourself from getting imposter syndrome? All right, so that was pretty much the whole call today, the whole live. What I did was I asked myself what needed to be true in my life about myself in order for me to stop feeling this way. And if I'm telling my staff to post on social media because I know it will make them busy, but I'm not posting on social media, then what needs to be true is I have to do that. And then I didn't feel like a fake when I was talking to my team about how they could promote themselves. So that's step one. If I have a coaching program and I talk about having a successful salon, how to build a business behind the chair, but yet I don't do the things I say you should be doing, but then I'm going to feel like an imposter. So there's so many coaches out there. This boggles my mind. You don't own a hair salon, but yet you're teaching people how to grow and scale a hair salon. I don't think you should be doing that. I think what you should be doing is maybe teaching people how to grow and scale a business. That that's applicable. But when it comes to actually growing a hair salon, because this is the niche that we're in, you can't speak from a place of authenticity because you don't do it. And if you guys hear me speak, I'm a big fan of Gary Vaynerchuk, and you have 2 areas of your life you should be focusing on as a leader, at least the cloud and the dirt. If you live up here in the clouds, it's a great place to live. You're the entrepreneur, you have the vision, you have big goals. That won't work if you don't know how to apply them in the dirt, in the day-to-day actions, in the scenarios where you have a new hire in your salon and she wasn't what you thought she was, and you have to fire her. How do you have that conversation? Or you get your first 1-star review, or the whole industry changed dynamically. How do you pivot on a dime and keep your salon growing? What do you do when you have a walkout? What do you do when there's a pandemic? What do you do when you run out of color? How do you solve that problem? There's certain questions you're going to have if you're in the coaching business as a salon coach that you need to have a salon in order to understand and give great context to the solution of the problem. And if you don't have a salon, then you're really just a business coach. You shouldn't niche down in salons because you don't own a salon. You're only teaching on theory, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but you're just going to feel like an imposter when someone asks you in your program a question about how do you do X, Y, and Z. And if you've never done X, Y, and Z, or you haven't done it since the 90s, you can't truly answer them. And that's probably why you feel like an imposter. So, next question, guys. What other questions you have here in the chat? This whole imposter syndrome, honestly, if you're a hairstylist and you raise your prices, you're going to feel a little bit like an imposter if you're just raising them for the sole purpose of making more money. Are you better? Like, are you raising your prices because you're a better version of you than you were 2 months ago? Are you always continuing to better yourself at your craft? And if you are, then great. Then you justify the price increase. But if you don't, if you're just raising your prices because Susie's hair salon down the street has a higher price for a haircut than you do, it's not going to sit right with you. You're not going to be able to articulate the value to a customer or showcase the value or make them feel like it's a valuable service because there's no substance to the reason why you raised your prices. You didn't get any better. You're not upping the experience in your salon. So why are you raising your prices? Because of the cost of eggs is higher? Granted, that could be a reason why, but can you justify it outside of just the world? Everything's getting more expensive. Are you getting better at cutting hair? Are you getting better at coloring hair? Do you have better coffee? Is there a better experience in your salon? And if you give yourself a reason to raise your prices and you follow through on that reason, like you are getting better at color, you are getting better at cutting, then you have no problem raising your prices because you know your value. And the only person who has to know your value is you. You don't control your marketplace value or how clients perceive if you're valuable or not. You only control the cost, you control the price. Values on your customers. So it's up to you to deliver a fantastic service, an amazing experience, and make sure every person leaves your salon feeling beautiful and feeling like this was a great experience. And if you could do that, then 100%, you're never going to feel like an imposter. You're always going to feel like, wow, I over delivered for that customer or that client. And they're going to walk around speaking volumes of the experience that they got in your salon. So if you're just raising prices based on what the community is charging, that's not a, a solid approach to how you price your salon. So really base it on the value you feel you deliver. Because a client may look at your haircut, be like, wow, $100. That's way too expensive. It's not worth it. And another client will be like, holy shit, I used to pay $250 for a haircut, and Nick delivers a way better service with a way better experience. This is such a great value. So the value has nothing to do with you. The value has everything to do with your customer. That's it, how they perceive that particular service. You control the price, you control the cost. Value you don't control. So guys, if you want to drop in with a question, I got Leslie in the chat here. I got John in the chat here. All right, so we are going to drop off of the live. This was the first trial run without James. So I'm going to figure out the StreamYard thing in a little bit. Jen Pressman, what's going on? Hopping on the tail end here. And good morning. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Like I said, the lives are going to be switching up in time. I'll keep you guys posted in my stories. I got a couple of programs I'm involved with right now, so bear with me on the lives, but you can always catch them on the YouTube channel. So head to the YouTube channel. They get posted there. Podcasts will be getting uploaded to like all the different podcast channels. There might be a little delay because I'm hiring some new team members and we're going to be bringing on some more guests and changing the layout of the show a little bit. I'm going to be taking the live podcast on the road, hopping to different salons. So that's it for today. You guys are amazing. I'll see you later.